Hi everyone, welcome to our GMP Live feature. Unfortunately today it wasn't able to be live because I had this appointment that I was telling you guys about. So I am just going to do a quick recording on what would have been our GMP Live discussion for the day. So we're getting into processes today, and we're going to talk about the sanitation program, which is one of the various processes. So the Natural Health Products Regulation sets out the sanitation requirements for the premises and for the health and the hygiene of the personnel. So yesterday and the day before we were talking about personnel. Now we're talking about how we take care of our personnel and our premises. So sanitation of a building as well as employee hygiene influences obviously the quality of your natural health products. So the good manufacturing practices requirement indicates that activities have to be performed in areas that are free from environmental contamination and free from contamination by any other products. So this gets into equipment, again, how we talked about how sometimes grease or oil or other lubricants may somehow come into contact with our product. So again, same thing, we're talking about environmental contaminants, we're talking about any other contaminant that might come into contact with our product when we're making it. And this is the purpose of the sanitation program, is to ensure these things do not happen. So a written sanitation program informs your employees, and in this case, maybe you don't have employees yet, but it is part of developing your good manufacturing practices, because we have to separate the roles, if you recall us talking about roles, into individual pieces and people, even if we're actually only one person. So we need to describe what the role of each of those people is. So your quality assurance person, your manufacturer, your packager, all of those things, you have to say, the packager does this, 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 and this. This is his role. This is his requirements and his tasks or her tasks. The manufacturer makes the product doing this, 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 and this, and they ensure the quality of the product by this, 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 and this, right? And then you get into the quality assurance personnel, who obviously reviews all of it and has to sign off on it, right? So we talk about a written sanitation program informing employees or individual job descriptions, let's call them, informing them of what the expectation is, as well as the necessary steps required to ensure proper sanitation. So one of them will be obviously hair nets or hair pulled back. One of them will be maybe a uniform. Maybe that uniform is just a clean apron or smock when they come into work. Maybe it's only to wear a certain color of clothing because when you're manufacturing, it doesn't get as dirty. There's all sorts of different requirements that you can dream up for your personnel in terms of care and hygiene. We'll get into like the larger sanitation process tomorrow. Today, I really want to talk about the health and hygiene portion of it, because it ties in really well with our personnel piece that we've been discussing. So, according to good manufacturing practices and requirements from Health Canada, you cannot wear outer garments, including shoe coverings that you must wear outer garments, including shoe coverings that protect against contamination. You must remove all unsecured jewelry and all hand jewelry and cover any jewelry that cannot be removed. Next is you have to use intact, clean gloves. So I use a latex glove with no powder on it. And I have a heck of a time finding them because I have very small hands. Luckily, my husband knows where to get them through his job as a general contractor. So he was able to source that out for me at a really reasonable price. But those I switch often. I'll put them on in the morning when I'm manufacturing and they'll get dirty and I'll take them off and toss them and grab a new set. And, I'll use them a new set in between various materials so that we're not having any cross-contamination, especially with essential oils and powders. Those seem to be really some of the worst to deal with in terms of cross-contamination. So those gloves are very important. Wearing hair nets or caps, beard covers, or other effective hair restraints, which seems like it should be pretty straightforward, but they need it recorded in your good manufacturing practices that that's going to be the way it is. hand washing. Like, I mean, I know we're all up on hand washing procedures because of COVID, but it still has to be recorded. Remember, good manufacturing practices is not just about what you do, it's about how you record it, how you present that evidence to Health Canada. Then we get into storing clothing and other personal effects outside of your processing areas. So that's an important one. Refraining from consuming food, drink, chewing products, or smoking in your manufacturing, packaging, storage, and testing areas. Again, really critical to the purity of your products that you're making. So periodically conducting eye examinations for yourself and your personnel, ensuring that anybody responsible for visual inspection has top-notch vision, right? Like, I mean, that's important to your processes. And so we need to record what our goals are going to be for, let's say, visual inspections. So this person in this role with this job description is going to do visual inspections of this, and this product, and we're going to record it here in our good manufacturing practices. Furthermore, that person is going to go in for an optometrist appointment once annually to ensure their vision is maintained. Something like that is exactly what the GMP manual is looking for. And it's not like, I mean, these are things we're all doing already. It's about recording them. It's about putting them into a process rather than just a practice. And the record keeping, of course, so Health Canada can see this is the steps they're taking, this is the records to prove it. And that's really all they're looking for in your good manufacturing practices. Then we go on, it's reporting to supervisors any health conditions of personnel that could adversely affect the products. Now, I know we all have big hearts, compassionate people. I'm sure most of us are very empathetic. We got into this to be healers. So it's going to mean more to us that our people are sick so that we can take care of our people, not so much that we're worried about product contamination. However, Health Canada is worried about product contamination. And so we need to be aware of anybody who's even a little under the weather. And to put that in perspective, think about COVID-19. Think about if you had somebody working for you who was making product, and that product was going out to retail locations to consumers across Canada. Think about the impact of that. So these practices are very important to put into place, to record, and to follow regularly so our companies can remain strong and successful, and we can ensure our own safety and success, and, you know, really diminish any potential for liability issues, really. So, and then we have respecting quarantine times imposed by public health authorities. Again, this has been in the regulations, in the requirements for good manufacturing practices since 2004. Okay, this isn't new. This isn't about the fact that we just had a quarantine or the fact that we may have another quarantine. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with respecting the regulations as laid out by the health authorities. Important, very important. And then lastly, we've got removing from the manufacturing facility any person who has or appears to have an illness that could be a possible source of product contamination until the disease or hygienic condition is no longer a risk for possible product contamination. So again, it all boils down to what is going to impact your final product, what is going to decrease the chances and the risk factor of contamination and cross-contamination, what is going to protect your work surface from these items. So this is the Health and Hygiene Program, which is, like I said, a sub-program of the Sanitation Program. So tomorrow we're going to get more into the full Sanitation Program and discuss that and go through the GMP compliance checks for that. But for today, I just wanted to tie that in with our personnel, since we were talking about that the last couple of days. And really, this is kind of like a consecutive order thing. It's chronological, and I wanted it to make the most sense that it could while we were still on the topic of the people in your company. So that is all for today. Drop your questions and comments down in the comment section. It's been awesome being able to bring this information to you. And to me, it's such an important topic because it protects us. It protects Canadian consumers, and it protects the federal government, like Health Canada. It protects everybody involved. So rather than looking at it as kind of maybe a pain in the butt or an overwhelming thing to do, look at it as an opportunity to serve your customers, your consumers, the Canadian public, and Health Canada, and work together as a team, as a unit, to go from maker to market in the safest, most effective way possible. All right, guys, have a great day. That's it for now. Chat with y'all this afternoon for our Makers Live at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. See you then.